Greetings everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Selfish Wealth's Learn-A-Thon. This is the first Learn-A-Thon we are doing. We've kind of done something like this in the past where we had our virtual conference held in our Facebook group, but this is the first time we're actually doing the Learn-A-Thon. I had saw someone else do it, and I was like, okay, that looks like a pretty good idea. Let me try that. So with this Learn-A-Thon, we are going to be doing one every single week. Every single Saturday from 7 to 10, we are going to be doing a Learn-A-Thon on a specific topic. So this week's Learn-A-Thon is going to be on credit, more specifically qualifying for high limit credit cards. We're going to be talking about qualifying for high limit credit cards. And today's Learn-A-Thon is going to be held from 7 to 10 p.m. and it's going to be distributed in a three-part video series. So if you know anything about me, you know I don't like to hold you guys too long. So let me go ahead and get right into the nitty-gritty. So qualifying for high limit credit cards. There is a series of steps that you have to take, right? And we're going to talk about some of the most basic steps in this video. And then as the videos go on, we're going to get a little bit more advanced in some of the things that we're talking about. So first, one of the most basic steps in qualifying for a high limit credit card is to, of course, clean your credit. You want to clean your credit. You want to remove those negative items on your credit report. Now, I know for some that may be difficult and very time consuming, but the thing that people need to realize and understand about credit is that it is not a quick fix type of ordeal. Like, credit isn't something that you can work on for a month or two and then boom. Especially if you have a lot going on with your credit, it takes time. It takes time. So you wanna clean your credit, and you wanna focus on removing those negative items, especially the negative items that are heavily correlated with credit cards or current credit cards that you have, old credit cards that you have. You especially want to work on removing those. So there's a few different ways you can remove items off your credit report. You could, of course, do it the traditional way by paying off whatever it is that you need to pay off and arranging a pay for delete arrangement, where you work out something with the creditors, pretty much stating, hey, if I pay off this bill, or if I pay this amount for this account, you guys agree to delete this account. So that has to be arranged in a letter via writing. Or if it is reaching the statute of limitations, you can always wait till it just falls off. Or you can send dispute letters to get them removed. You can send dispute letters disputing certain accounts that you have with letters to get those negative items removed. But irregardless, you would need to remove those negative accounts that is really damaging you, especially ones that are 2 years old and less, because those are impacting you the most. You especially want to focus on any negative accounts, any negative credit card accounts. You want to focus on making those positive. Any open negative credit card accounts, you want to focus on making those positive accounts. And you can make them positive by paying them down. Or if you have a bunch of late payments on them, you can pay them down and create a budget, create a plan to ensure that you're never late again. You don't want a bunch of late payments reporting on an open credit card. Now, it's a little difficult to remove late payments, especially if it's a bunch of late payments, a bunch of consecutive late payments, reporting month after month. You may not be able to get all those removed. But you can always contact your creditor and see what happens. You never know. But you definitely want to make those open negative credit card accounts positive. If the balances are too high, if it is over 30%, utilization. If it is over 30%, if the balances are over 30% of your total limit, you want to pay those down. My suggestion would be to pay them completely down to zero. Pay them completely down to zero, and then after they're paid down, implement the 30% utilization strategy method. Pay them down to zero, and then when moving forward, when you use your credit card, utilize a 30% utilization method. And what that is that every statement date, by every statement date, you want your credit card balance to be at 30% of your total limit or less. And so the statement date is the date that the credit bureaus report your balance to the credit, not the credit bureaus. The statement date is the day that your creditor, that the credit card company reports your balance to the credit bureaus. So on the statement date, whatever your balance is, they're going to report that to the credit bureaus. So if you got a $1,000 credit card and you spent $300, that's 30%. That's 30% utilization. If that's your balance on the statement date, they are going to report that. And then the credit bureaus are pretty much going to report, hey, you had a 30% utilization. And then your score is going to go up. Of course, ideally, you want it to be a little bit below 30%. Anywhere in between 10 and 30%. And some of you are probably like, why not under 10? I'll explain why in a bit. But anywhere in between, actually, I'll explain why in video 3. So if you want to know why I said 10 to 30 and not anything under 10, I'll explain why in video 3. But yeah, so you want your utilization to be anywhere between 10 and 30%, right? And you want to do that month after month, because your score is going to increase month after month. And not only that, you're going to show that you know how to manage and handle your credit card. So when you go and apply for your credit limit increases, or when you go and apply for those new cards, you're going to be able to show them, hey, I'm responsible. I'm responsible with my credit cards. I know how to use them properly. And this will increase your chances. But having utilization over 30%, 40%, 50%, 80%, close to maxing out your cards every month, it's not going to cut it. Even if you get, let's say you have a $1,000 limit and every month you charge about $990 to your card. And maybe you pay your balance off in full every single month, right? Maybe you're the type to pay your balance off in full. That's not going to matter much, because the activity that is transacted on your due date doesn't matter as much, because that activity isn't reported to the credit bureaus. The activity that is transacted on your statement date is what's reported to the credit bureaus. The only reason why your due date is important is because the due date is where they require you to make a payment. Another reason why the due date is important, because it's the date that determines if you're going to be paying interest on your credit card or not. You could avoid paying interest on your credit card by paying that balance completely off by the due date. So that's why the due date is important. But the due date isn't relevant as it relates to you boosting your credit. It's not relevant. Your statement date is what's going to make or break your credit. That's the date that you want to pay attention to. You want to pay attention to the statement date so you know to have your balance down to a certain point, 30% of your total limit or less, by that statement date, so that your credit could go up. And then by the due date, well, the day after the statement date, you want to pay that remaining balance off. May not be the day after. It can be any day after, as long as it's before your due date that's coming up, before your next due date. You want to pay that remaining balance off, just so you don't have to pay interest, just to save money. So doing this will not only position you to boost your credit, but it will also position you to be able to apply for credit cards with higher limits. You do good, you do that, month after month with this $1,000 credit card, you position yourself for a $10,000 one. You do this month after month with your $10,000 one, you position yourself for a $30,000 one, and so on and so forth. This is how you show good behavior with your credit cards. But yes, that is all I have for you guys for this first video. We have 2 more videos coming, giving you more information on how to position yourself for credit cards or high limit credit cards. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you with the next video.